I'm Usha Ramki. I have a 15 years of corporate bank experience followed by life skills coaching since 2003. To know more about my work and my interests, watch YouTube channel Usha Ramki, USHA RAMKY. The topic for today is Idle Mind is Devil's Workshop. Particularly in this pandemic, how am I dealing with it? Listen to this story of the man who reminds us of you and me in dealing with our mind. There was a man who went and sat in a very secluded place. He wanted to isolate himself completely. So he sat under a tree, closed his eyes to sit in meditation so that he could focus and concentrate. As he went and sat there and eyes closed, he could smell fragrant flowers. Unable to contain his curiosity, he quickly opened his eyes and he saw a beautiful young girl walking who was wearing flowers in her hair. He was very disturbed and upset about himself. So he sat again with eyes closed, deciding to concentrate. After some time, he heard the sound of anklets. Again, this time he was controlling enough, but after some time he wanted to know whether it was the same girl or another or who it was. So he opened his eyes again, and this time he decided, no, this is not fair, I am not going to do this. So what he did was, he bandaged up all his entire face so that all his senses could be controlled, and now he cannot even open his face even if he wants to. So he bandaged it up and sat in silence with eyes closed. And then you know what he did? He was just thinking about whether that girl has gone. Is there anybody else going around? Who would this person be? And his mind was completely there. And that's what we'll end up doing a lot of times. What happens is the body is here and the mind keeps wandering elsewhere, and our objective is to bring back that mind to where we want. Now imagine there is a little child and the child wants to go in and play with the fire. What will we do? We will not allow it, right? We don't say, okay baby, you play with fire and get hurt, okay? No, we don't do that. We gently bring the child away from that place, distract it and make it play something else. Similarly, when our mind is wandering, thinking about all unwanted things, it is not good at all. It is destructive. It is not going to give any benefit to us. So the idea is to gently move it away. So when the mind is busy thinking, why was my boss so rude yesterday? He is always like this. I'm going to punch on his nose one day. Even if I lose my job, it's okay. Something has to go wrong with his life. I'm not going to leave it like that. And as the mind wanders like this, which is destructive both for him and for the other, the objective will be to gently bring it to something else positive so that that's forgotten. Now, idle mind is devil's workshop because it is destructive for everybody. In this pandemic particularly, our life has shrunk. We are not traveling like before. We are not doing so many things which we were doing. Only the basic minimal is being done. So we have a lot of time when the mind goes idle, and because of the external disturbance, it's further thinking a lot negative. So I thought of an idea whereby I can bring the idle mind towards an ideal life. So I built an acronym around ideal, IDEAL. I is inspire and get inspired. There is a tendency for us, especially in the early days, I would just pick up the phone or somebody would call me and the conversation will invariably be only about the rising numbers of COVID, where it started, where it will lead to, when this will end. And towards the end of the call, we feel so dejected and frustrated. We feel so hopeless after that. Then I decided I am not going to do that. So whenever I spoke to people who are all my near and dear ones or people who are important to me, I would switch that thought process itself and talk about, it's okay, challenges always come, man is so powerful, God has created us with a lot of intelligence, this is a temporary phase, challenges are not permanent, there will be a time when everything will be fine. And then we talk about the happy times, some past nostalgic memories and something funny that happened, And towards the end of the call, people would say, I'm feeling really happy and charged up now. I forgot all my problems. Thank you so much. And they would put the phone down. I inspired somebody, and they in turn would inspire enough other people after the conversation. On the other side, there was a time when I was feeling dejected about, see, those people are having a lot of fun at home. They have enough support system, domestic help. They are not doing any work. He is going to office and he is getting 100% salary. There was somebody else who was working from home but losing job, and I am at home. All these kind of disturbing thoughts were there. And then when I saw those frontline workers and the medical people and the milkwala who brought milk every other morning without fail, and all those delivery boys who gave us at the doorsteps so that we could stay safe. Come on, these people have been working every other day. Can I get inspired by the work that they do and push myself to be more positive? Inspire and get inspired. That really shifted my life and the energy of the people around me. D is for discipline. What happens is, when I set specific time slots for the different work that I do, that discipline gives me actually freedom. It is not boring to have such a discipline, I realized. I allotted a specific time for my physical and mental health, more so during the pandemic. Long silence and meditation was the way I begin my day. What happens is, in this time, there's more anxiety about the future, unpredictability, fear. With all this, when I sit and get that mental strength, I am ready to face the challenges of the day. And physical health, without any support, I had to do extra work at home. You know what happens with all this extra work? I can't tell that now I am very healthy because I do so much of work at home. Literally, I am not working like my mother and my grandmother and great-grandmother did. They did a lot of work, bending and stretching, which became natural exercise for them. They walked miles, which served as an exercise for them. But today, it's not like that. I sweep and swap like that. And the grinder is rotating. I am just standing in front of it. I have to use the mixer like this, just holding it. All these kind of whole day routine exhausts me a lot. I get physically exhausted, but I need some specific exercise to keep myself fit and healthy. So I devoted more time towards that, and that physical and mental health gave me the energy to get the rest of the day disciplined. I would put specific time slots for my work, which is either doing with the content or taking videos or preparing or sending mails. I had specific time slots, and only in the gaps I was sitting idle, and I had to deal with my mind in some other possible way. So inspire and get inspired, discipline. E is being energy on the move. When the body and the mind are in sync, we produce best results and we are most efficient that way. When the body and mind work in different directions, we don't get the desired results at all. I am reminded of my student days when I would prepare for my exams. You know, at 8:30 at night, I would be sitting with the book here. Physically, I will be there in the reading pose, but mentally all my thoughts will be elsewhere, and in the next 5 minutes I would doze off and go to sleep. But when there was a late night movie with all the commercials that came in between, I would not blink my eyes and watch the entire movie. Why? Because my body and mind were completely engrossed in what I was doing. When the body and the mind are in sync, the results are simply superb. So, to be that energy on the move, I have to be in the present. Whatever work I do, I have to bring my mind also connected with that activity so that I feel more energetic and better results are produced. And A is something very important I realized, which is no gadget time. Of course, we have to work on the computers. There are so many things that we do only based on technology. But there's a no entertainment zone that I create for myself. The first and last 30 minutes of the day are never with gadgets. It's anything else other than technology. And also what I started doing was, at least 3 hours in a day, when I was idle and I am tempted to pick up that phone or take that remote in my hand, I would consciously keep it aside and call it a no gadget time. And that 3 hours, I will get up and do something else, anything other than that. So no forwards, no videos watching, no television, no social media platforms. What happens is I feel very energized, and I somewhere get the feeling that I become weak in the process of all the time browsing through something. There's so much of information load that is happening, which is burdening me and making me even weaker. So I pushed that aside, and automatically I became a happier person, and that confidence that I am not an addict and I can be at peace without technology gave me a lot of kick actually. And L, the final one, is lateral thinking. Lateral thinking in our daily life is going beyond the problems and thinking solutions. Invariably, we think the problem, because of which the problems become multifold and we feel doomed and submerged inside that problem itself. Instead of that, can I think of solutions, newer ways of tackling the whole situation? We lose job. Today that a particular job has been lost by me, that doesn't mean my life is doomed. There is another path, there is another option. What options can I look at? What other ways are there? In this country of 1.4 billion, there is opportunity for everybody to do something. And even in these tough times, people have thought of new ideas which will fit into the need of today and started doing that job. Similarly, can I do something which is basically to do with my lateral thinking? Instead of telling my children, don't watch TV, stop that e-game that you're playing, I think of a solution and I go back to the 1900s space which I have at home, which is completely to do with olden times. So one day, in fact, I told them, see, my grandfather lived in a place where there was no electricity at all. The next 2 hours, we are going to have no electricity. Anything is permitted without electricity. And without technology, we had an activity to do. The children felt happy at the end of it. And to give you another example, say there is a mother-in-law who comes and says, what kind of a dish are you making? There is this South Indian delicacy called sambar. She comes and says, what kind of a sambar have you made? Didn't your mother teach all this properly? So instead of getting annoyed about it, shouting with her or a cold war with her, calling up my mother and spoiling her mood also by sharing what happened here, or waiting for my husband to come and pounce on him about how rude his mother was, all these make the problems multifold. We have to find solutions for which we have to think. Solution. That's all is required. So what I would probably do is tell her, Ma, you make extraordinary sambar, okay? Today I am going to get all the ingredients ready for you and you are going to make it. I am simply going to watch how you are doing it. Two things can happen out of it. One, if she is a lazy woman, she will tell me, no, you are fine. You are off late improving. Please go ahead, and she will escape. Option 2 is she would come and make the sambar and I would simply sit and watch, which means I am doing some upward delegation, and at the end of it I would praise her so that she feels good about it. L is lateral thinking. Inspire and get inspired. Have a disciplined routine in the daily life. Be energy on the move. Have a no gadget time in every part of the day. And L is lateral thinking. Actually, this has come as a very, very practical tool for me in this pandemic, dealing with an ideal mind. This has come to me very handy during this pandemic in dealing with idle mind. So, I'm ready to chase the devil away and to welcome the angel to my mind.